Hello, welcome back. We are now going to dynamically populate a select menu. The prerequisites for this video, you should already be familiar with HTML select menus. You should be familiar with arrays in any language, and you should be familiar with document.createElement and also document.appendChild. Learning objectives for this video, you will be able to create a select menu and dynamically populate it with array list items. And that's what we want you to do for an assignment. We want to see you create a select menu and then, populate it using iteration in a loop inside of JavaScript. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So before we had this, you saw we could use a loop and we can just create element, or append child, and so on. So what we really want to do here, since we're moving forward with the concept of the restaurant, now we can actually start putting restaurant stuff in there. And we want to have a very simple menu where you can have a drop-down menu of different, a select menu of different food items. So let's do that now. Let's go ahead and take those elements outside of the loop. Let's get rid of this. We don't need this. Come back here so that we have just that. And then we're going to hard code a select menu in here. Now, if you don't remember, or it's been a long time since you've used select menus before, or maybe you haven't even seen this before, a select menu is basically a menu that has it. People call it a drop-down menu, but it's called a select menu. It's just easier. It's easier for us to show you than to explain it with words. So you've seen these all the time. We have a select menu. Let's say the name is foods, and the ID is foods as well. And you might see an option inside. Let's just make this like that. So this option might be, different food, corn here, tomato, mango, papaya. So you see these options in here. This is what we call the select menu, right? So what we're going to do is that in web development, usually if you have a menu of items that are listed on a page, usually those items are not hard coded into the HTML. So in other words, you have a select menu and there might be a default menu, a menu item like, please select, or just select a dish. So you might see something like this that starts out like that, but then when you click on it, you see all the different selections, and the selections usually are coming from the back end. Now, this is a front end course, so we're only going to be talking about the front end for now, but you need to be prepared for using scripts and using JavaScript or whatever backend languages, PHP, etc., to do processing of information on the back end. Remember the kitchen analogy that we had in the first video when we talked about the front end in the restaurant is like the dining room, and then you're getting your data from the back end, whether it's a web application server or even the data may originally be coming from a database. So we're going to kind of simulate that process here with this index.html as our front end page, and then this JavaScript file, even though it's on the front end, is a little further back than this HTML page. The HTML page is what everyone sees, but this JavaScript page is in the background giving us the data right now. So we could have an array of foods. So let's say var foods, let's just do the food list equals, and then we'll have two different foods. So two different foods from Tanzania, changu fish, ugali. Two foods from Nigeria. We'll do egusi soup and eba. And then two foods from Ethiopia. That's it. What? and Gomin. All right, so since this is a Pan-African kitchen, we've got foods from different places in Africa. I'm sorry that your country is not represented. If it's not, we will make up for that. Maybe if you send us your favorite food, maybe we can put it in a future video. So what we want to do is we're going to start looping through here. I is less than, I equals 0, I is less than food list dot length, I plus plus. And what will we do in here? We have a select menu. So the select menu's name is food. So we can, up here, we can say var foods, I'm sorry, it's foods, equals document dot query selector. And it was foods ID. This didn't even have an ID, did it? Yeah, it did. Okay, ID is foods. And then we can do, so we've created foods as a, we're grabbing the foods select menu so that we can later append onto it. And foods is a select menu. So now inside of our loop, we can say var option, or we can say new option equals document.create element option. So we're creating an option item, kind of one like one of the ones that we manually did here. And then we will say new option. Now each option in here has a value. And so we'll just give this a value of 0. And then it has a value and then it has an inner HTML. The inner HTML is this part. Inside of a tag, the HTML is always what the user sees. And there's other, attributes that these tags have as well. So in this case, new option dot value equals food list I. And then new option dot inner HTML equals the same thing, food list I. And then now we need to append it. So can you think of what the next line would be? You can pause the video if you want to think of it on your own before I type it. We've created the new option, but somehow it's not showing up in here yet, right? So how do we get it to show up, to be added to the select menu? Pause the video, think about it, come back when you're ready. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to, if you thought that we need to append the child, then you're correct. We need to do foods.append child, new option. We save this, and then now we can select the dish from here. Jangu fish, ugali, egusi, all of these are right there. And it's dynamically populated, like we said before. We did not change the HTML at all. All of this was dynamically added through our script. Okay, so we're getting closer because our goal is that we want people to be able to select a dish and then click it, add to the cart or add to the total. And then below here, we want to see a total and how much everything costs. So we're getting there. We're getting there.